kind of strange to see it this way in comparison to the original. Oh, goodness gracious. So last time we worked with this amazing drawing, we found out that the opening here is 1/4 inner and outer is 2 centimeters. Okay, so that was what I went to search for. Let's start with these things. Honestly, don't remember what I've ordered, but let's take a look. All right, so these are the gaskets. I'm gonna call them gaskets because otherwise I'm gonna call them gremlins. So this is the gasket that I found that might potentially work. Okay, it's seated really well, and it is extremely well fit here. It's even loose, so it look like something like this. I don't like how big it is on the sides, like covering the whole area. Look how neat that looks. This is what I was trying to get, and I can't really find something like this. I don't think this would be some kind of standard seal, but that would have been what I would call like a really awesome look and great mod. Okay, well, that was a good try. It is the right size, a little bit too loose for my tastes. Let's take a look what is in here. Okay, so these are little rubber bands. It's not like all the way, it's sticking out. But when you turn this, like focus on the like this housing, and let's look how the back, is it in orbit or not? See, the back is pretty good. This would have been great. I would say when you use the tape, as long as you don't cover the as long as you don't go all the way around, but do like a neat, perfect circle, if you will, you should be okay. Very close on 11/16. So what is it, 3/4? Yeah, so we are at 3/4. Couple of different knobs. They're surprisingly pretty decent. I thought this is going to be a lot bigger, to be honest. This is super tiny, but I have different styles. I have like that, something like this, and I thought they're going to be seriously much bigger. This one's too, and it looks like a thread here, and it's also different. So it does fit, almost the same as the other one. I'm starting to like it a little bit more. It just has a little feel to it. Why they're so small? I don't. For some reason, like I have a brain fart. Why they're so small? Maybe they're just telling us that it won't work. I think when it's just a touch different, it has a nice, interesting feel to it. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I think we need to settle on this, and I think for just to save this guy, we'll use this layout, and when we move to here, we'll consider just the cleaner look. I hate when it happens. Okay, imagine something like this. I think this looks a touch better. Here's the situation, right? It works. It's a little, I have big hands, so it's not as comfy as I would like it. The screw is here, which is plenty of room for it to anchor. Like as you can see where we have a post sticking out here, and the screw is right as it comes out. On this end though, you see where the screw is? Look, I just drop it. Okay, there's way more room, and this will provide a little bit more stability because you're basically working with a tip, and this happens. We could potentially still try this rubber gasket. Okay. Yeah, I can't even spin this. Does it look pretty when it covers that roughness? Yeah. Yeah. If this could be like a factory made, I think this would have been awesome. You know, this is a nice touch. Because let's say that we had this way, like just like we're building it, and we actually did use rubber gasket up here, right? Now you have the knob actually is being absorbed by the gasket itself, and we have a less movement. Interesting situation. So this is where we ended up, and it looks like adding these rubber seals or gaskets, like stacking them, helps a little bit, but not much. As you can see, I am moving this, and it's not as stable. This one is even worse, but unless you compress it, then you'll be able to. But it is better though. It is a little bit more sturdy. It's not terrible, but I'll tell you, like, I would rather rub against the rubber seal here with the knob than touch the potentiometer like this, where it just like look how much it wobbles. So yeah, something like this works really good. Just stacking it with different rubber seals. There might be a slightly better way to do this, but still, I think this is pretty reasonable because it sits on that rubber band. Okay, the rubber band is touching the seal. Okay, and when we turn the knob, it's rubbing against it and basically like creates this, you know, absolute like friction. Let's try without it. It's not too bad, you know. All things considered, I think this is pretty good. So in a way, I really like this. I mean, it's not moving at all. So what I'm working on is I'm trying to use one of those pieces here and widen this up a little bit. It's one of those smaller ones. So I'm trying to drill through it, widen it just enough so it actually is sitting flush with the actual housing here. You see it's not fully seated. Okay, so when we have something like this and it's all away, now we have a properly seated gasket to help absorb the shock. So I just trimmed also this. Came out to something like that. It's not perfect. I'm just going to test this to see whether it works, because this is going to be where the knob is going to land. I want to see if it actually goes through. Let's just grab that. Yeah, okay, we actually needed that. Again, I'm just experimenting with it and making sure that I could stabilize it, both the orbit and the movement. And if I would like to have this really sturdy, I need to tie it, like I need to push it a little bit more. And doing so, makes them spin sometimes with the knob, although not always. But it is, in my opinion, this is better than, let's say, not having anything. And when you turn this, there's a lot going on. Like look at this. All right. I think part why the tolerances were so small and the knobs were so small on the original is because it prevents you from doing so. You know, they're moving, but because they're so small, they're not moving much. You know, you're not applying too much force. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the drive knob. It is a touch lower than I would like it to be. This is a pretty good height. As you can see on the other side, I'm just a little bit like, I mean, it's just a milligram, okay? And it's already uncomfortable. Let's see, maybe we could raise it a touch. Because the reason it is pushed is to make sure that the shocks are working. Yeah, this feels almost exact. Definitely what I would like to have. But as you can see, the movement has returned. Here at the top is where it's comfortable to hold. So we are about in here. Now that's a very awkward situation for the potentiometer. It's not going to withstand that. Alright, so just through here. Alright, so here we go. A little bit better. That is a one hell of a raise. I'm not gonna lie. Perfect grip. It's not seated yet. There's nothing there, so we're getting stuck somewhere. Interesting. Okay, well, let me see. Maybe I could do a little bit of work. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it, guys. It's, you know, it functions great. You know, it's a great feel, almost exactly the same as here. Well, we're gonna be messing with this one on the left next, and to follow the similar kind of scenario. And perhaps once we work with this, we'll see maybe we could adjust both of them in some meaningful way. Fine touches, just like a jewelry. Why are you removing? That sucks. I broke this one. This one's done. Just the screw goes through it. So far, this one looks great. Okay, so we need to reach this same height on this side, which proved to be a little bit problematic yesterday when I was working on the actual cap on this. It ended up breaking when I drilled a too big of a hole here, and then the screw just ended up spinning in place. So today we're going to try and fix this. I was wondering, maybe we could use the Dremel before we hammer, just to see whether we could, force this a little less. Very nice. Much better than last time, to be honest. This could potentially attach itself here almost immediately. Yeah, look how nice it is. So much better. It's really... So, I was working on this a little bit. And as you can see, I totally messed it up. This is what I had to take out, because I just decided for some reason to try the gasket again. This is such a waste. This is plastic. This is not nylon. This actually might be useful in some ways to reduce friction between the sections. All right, well, we're going to put this aside. I guess for first step, discover what nylon is. I wanted to test whether we could use, instead of going all the way down with the knob, just use, in a way, the surface. And I've definitely messed this guy up pretty bad. Is there anything I could do to even this out? Okay. So I was thinking something like this. You see now that the knob is on the surface and the rubber gasket is here. And now we kind of have this cushion, but as you can see, this looks ridiculous. My brain says the only reasonable thing to do is to pray. I'll make sure that we dust this off at some point. I don't know where it is for chaos. There we go. So much better. So much better. Yeah, so I think that's a great solution. So when you're working with something like those copper pipe connectors, you just want to prep the area first. The silent washer does help. It doesn't create that kind of a skip feeling. This feels quite solid to turn. So let's work on this one as well. They're on the same almost height. This one is a touch higher. So maybe with help of this, we could, we could actually like help out and match these together. This one, the further we go, the worse it gets. So we'll do some more prepping. Okay, much better. Probably leave a ton of residue. Of course it did. Okay, as you can see, right, there's a little bit of copper, that pipe, copper connector sticking out. See how it's not fully seated. So push it a little bit more into its housing. As you can see, like it's very close to flush, and the cap sticks out a touch more, which will be the first to grab the cushings. Okay, this is definitely more tactile. It's more rubbery. In terms of overall feeling, how they turn, they both feel great. This one on the right, it does have a little bit of a skip. It's very small. You can kind of tell when the rubber kind of slips, but it's not terrible. Needless to say, I think this is in great shape. So I'm going to assemble it right now and see it in action. Now I might assemble it without the gasket here, but maybe because it really is much easier to work with, to be honest, when you have something just like this. But for this demo, let's go ahead and assemble it in its fullness. Yeah, it's not rubbing against anything. It works very, very good. It's kind of strange to see it this way in comparison to the original. Oh, goodness gracious. It looks very strange in the original form. The most important is that it functions. It sits on the same plane and it doesn't have a wobble at this height. So yeah, so I'm going to go and test this and we'll take a look how it sounds with this mod. Or maybe actually two of them, but we'll just take a look side by side and just hear them out. So the volume seems to be working. Let's try the drive. In terms of functionality, I mean, there's no doubt about it. You know, what you're grabbing here with your end of your fingers and most likely will touch your nails over the paint and using these normally. I do like how the volume knob came out. Now that I'm really thinking about this wobble, it really is not as severe as I thought it was. You know, when you're using them, you know, you're kind of a little bit more on the gentle side. So it doesn't move as much as when I was working on it. So this one is a little bit too tight for my tastes. It's not as dynamic as this one is. Just a little bit of more work needs to be done here. But sound-wise, fantastic. I just want to hear how they sound when we stack them. So let's do that. Would have been interesting to have a filter between the two. Imagine like explaining this to like aliens. Oh, by the way, we use inches, but on the other side of the planet, they use centimeters. Almost the same thing, but not really. I think they would probably go crazy and leave.